Welcome back. Yes, sir. We back.
We back.
Open gym episode. Have no clue. We was off for a minute. We was out here like Donald Trump fighting the COVID.
Boy.
Yes, sir. Big Step is out here. Had to step over that.
Man, listen, that's about the little of correlation we have with that man. But it's about finally we had to go through a lot. At least we came back to springtime. Hey,
springtime.
Yeah, bro. You been outside? I mean, I know you can't tell because you have a hoodie on.
It's winter.
Man, look, I don't know about you, but it's a lovely day out there, boy. Blue skies, sunny. All kind of weather.
One moment it's gonna be blue skies and sunny. Next moment it's gonna be snowing.
I've been in Ohio a long time, already. I know. I hibernate. It's all gravy. But we back.
Rondell Sutherland here with T Nesbitt. You know,
give him that Fonz. Hey,
open gym episode.
Too old for you.
Not that old, man. It's not that old for me. I mean, it's way past my time, but I know who Fonz is.
Fonzie was the coolest.
Yes, sir. But yeah, we back. Rondell Sutherland, T Nesbitt, open gym episode. Don't know. Not even gonna try to know. Presented by Mojo Sports Gear on the Score On Air network and on Facebook.com or ScoreOnAir.com, where you can catch all the daily blogs, all that other stuff. I cannot remember what I usually say, but we're gonna jump into it. So we're gonna start off with the biggest news that has to do with basketball, and it is. Do you think that the season's gonna start around December or after?
What I think should happen and what I actually think is about to happen is two completely different things. Just like normal, big surprise here, NBA players are crying about having to start again.
Golly, man.
I mean, it's, to me, I thought the December time was it was okay. Just because, I mean,
you could tell it's for money. They trying to start on Christmas.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean,
you gotta think on like the stars, like LeBron and them. They want to rest.
How much rest do you need? How much? Listen, the stars get everything that they want and need already. They want to act like it was so hard to do this bubble thing, which granted, it was a little something that you had to deal with. But don't act like you wasn't off for months before that too, though.
I mean, mentally, we saw Paul George. It was tough mentally.
Yeah, but at the same time, you have to deal with a deficiency at some point to get to where you want to get to. Me and you both have physical deficiencies trying to get to an NBA. I can't play in the NBA. Look at it. But I can talk about the NBA.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Paul George, he may not be able to do any of this, but he can play in the NBA. And so his mind ain't right. Now he's just a regular smuggler dude. He ain't what he used to be. But that's just one person's mentality. That's just one person's mindset. But collectively, they do a lot of crying. Like, it's unfair to getting treated the wrong way. Dude, March was the end of the season at some point. So from March all the way until July 30th, I'll never forget that day.
Yeah, it was July 30th.
Yeah, I'll never forget that day. But from July 30th on up until October or September area, they played basketball again. But up until that point, they had that time off, which in any other regular season, that time that they spent in July, August, September, they would have been playing in April, May, June, July anyway. So you can't accept the fact that, oh, well, I had this much time off and I'm okay with that, but also cry about having to start right up. Well, you've had those months off anyway. I hear them crying about, well, we won't have 4 months to rest. What was the 3 months that you missed before that? Well, 4 months almost. What was that time frame that you missed before that? You're not being rushed. You're just trying to change the narrative. We're dealing with that now in our own country. Just because you say it and you cry about something being foul, don't mean that it's foul. Don't mean that you're getting treated wrong. It just means that you're crying like a little baby and you're not getting your way. LeBron just got the championship. And in his mind, he should sit out another 4 months.
Well, to be fair, it's not really LeBron saying it. It's like Dwight, like just, his teammates around him.
White?
Yeah, is everyone else around him saying, like, LeBron more than likely won't play if the season starts around December.
He's a sucker, and you should get everything. If I'm Adam Silver, start the season. Go ahead and sit out.
But, you want your biggest star to start.
Yeah, but I'm not about to blow
And at the same time, you may want him to rest because I mean, he's 37 years old, or he's 36 or 35. I have no clue what his age is.
You had 3 months, 4 months to rest.
But I mean, what he won in September, right?
Yeah, but you had time
November?
off. Yes.
So you want him to rest off for 3 months and then come back?
He rested off for 3 months. He came back and played a little bit, and then you get to rest again. So that's on. And let's not forget those 8 games that he played in the bubble before the qualifying games. They were already qualified early on as far as having the number 1 spot. So you could have chose to rest then. You could choose to rest during the season, blow some teams out, rest in the fourth quarter. But they get their way, and that's the thing. Again, going back to LeBron James, that's what always knocks him in the greatest of all time debate every time. It's the lack of just doing what you're supposed to do. You want everything your way, and you're already the best. You know what I'm saying? Like you're really cheating yourself and you're cheating the system because you want everything to come your way. That's not what sports is about. Sometimes you have to get through adversity. There's a reason why the biggest championship that he ever won was the one that he won in Cleveland, because he had to go through some adversity. People appreciate and respect the Miami and the LA championship this year, but it's not as up there because you didn't have to go through anything. And here LeBron James is again not one to have to go through anything.
He didn't have to go through anything. He had to go through a whole pandemic, bro.
So did everybody else.
But I mean, he had to go through that. Then he had to go through being away from his family.
Like, so did everybody else. LeBron's not getting. That's my point. Like, he makes it seem, and they make it seem like they're getting treated so unfair. Why? Because you're treated like everybody else?
No, but I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, you got a point. I see your point, but at the same time, I feel like you are being just slightly a little unfair to maybe a little bit to them, to the players.
It's not your job as a basketball player.
What do you mean?
Play basketball. Like, how much time do you need? How much time do you need off? Because then you're worried about being rusty. Like, that's what all do you want? You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't LeBron just give us his list of demands like it's a freaking
a hostage situation?
You might as well. Oh, I'm not playing. Well, all right, cool. Don't play. Like, that's my take on it. But I'm also not the most sympathetic, I'm gonna pat you there kind of dude anyway. Like, right. I believe in tough love. I believe in telling somebody the real. And no, it seems like people don't want to tell LeBron James the real. It seems like people don't want to look him dead in the eye and be like, look, you play with or without. I get LeBron James is LeBron James. But at some point you have to treat these athletes like what they are. They're just another athlete. In a couple years, when LeBron James is retired and over and done with, the NBA will still be here. Am I wrong?
I mean, no, you're not wrong.
So why kiss up to him? You already get everything, though. So you want everything and more? Quit crying and play the freaking game. You love it so much. You'll hear, I bet you can find an interview with LeBron somewhere. It's like, oh, I love the game so much, I'll play it for free. And then you fast forward and then it's crying your freaking river. Get over it. You have a job to do. Go.
Once again, I would like to just say, to be fair, it's not LeBron out here saying it.
Just because somebody else say it for you don't mean. That's just like, oh, well, go talk to that girl. Tell her it's for me, though. All right. You still want that girl to come talk to you? You still sending a homie to go get her? So I can understand,
I mean, you don't know for sure, though. They could be talking not on his behalf, but just talking.
When is LeBron? First of all, nobody's caring about Danny Green and freaking Dwight Howard.
Was it Danny Green? That's
yes.
Okay.
You see how they did Amy Bradley? Oh, you want to stand up for social justice? All right, see you. We'll mail you a ring, buddy.
That's crazy.
Like, but I'm not. I get tired of it because they already get everything. You already get everything. Now you want to cry about it. And oh, by the way, if you didn't want that other ring, you could have not went to the bubble. If you're LeBron James does. He wants everything in his favor, then sees the results, and then let's change the rules again. Again, it ain't no different than what's happening in our very own country right now. Let's just change everything to fit my narrative and fit my system and fit crazy. What I want to do. Can't y'all tell I'm happy to be back?
You really out here saying LeBron James is acting like Donald Trump?
Yes.
That's wow.
That's the cry. It's the same thing. He don't get his way. He cries about it and tries to change the rules. Is that what's not happening right now?
I mean, that's definitely what is happening.
LeBron James is doing the same exact thing.
But like I said, we don't know for a fact that LeBron's out here saying it. Yes, they could be saying it on his behalf.
Now, let me
But
ask
he
you
has
this.
not came out and said it. At least Trump has came out and said it.
Do you think LeBron James would let somebody speak for him that wasn't valid? Like, do you honestly think that if he wasn't saying this or feeling this way or thinking this way, that Dwight and Danny Green could talk for him and he wouldn't shut it down?
I mean, he's definitely feeling that way.
Absolutely.
He's definitely feeling that way. But
So
I do feel like they are speaking out.
Like, I feel like
Not
they
on
probably
his
said something.
on his behalf.
They probably said something during the process of bringing the bubble out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they probably told him, like, yo, it might be a quick turnaround, though, as long as y'all sign up for it and everything cool, da, da, da. LeBron living in that moment, I want to get that fourth ring. So I'm going to agree to these terms. I'm going to sign up for all this. I'm going to do what everything is supposed to be done at this point. These are the rules that y'all putting in place. This is what you set up. This is what we're supposed to be doing. All right, cool. Boom. I get the ring. Now let's change the rules. Well, you just agreed to something. Again, that's the same thing that's happening right now. You agreed to do this. And then it doesn't go the way that you want it to go. Now you want to turn around and be like, well, it's not fair. Well, something we've been doing forever ain't fair now? Okay, it was fair when you won it, but now it ain't fair. It ain't no different than LeBron crying about the MVP vote. Like, you knew what was happening here.
He didn't really cry about that.
He cried about it.
He was upset about it.
But this is the damage that you do when you do the things that you do. When LeBron wants to have everything in his favor, you can't have everything in your favor and then still get that MVP. You can't pick your terms every time and still get everything you want. It can happen sometimes, but it's not going to happen all the time. And when that doesn't happen and it doesn't work out his way, that's when he begins to cry. That's when he begins to want to switch the rules up. And we know, just like, again, what happens with our country, it's the small percentage that pretty much runs everything, gets to determine the rank and file, what they have to deal with. That's no different than LeBron James. It's the same exact thing. Is he a racist with it? No. He'll be the dude that calls it out. And the thing about that is, the way that people look at the LeBron James thing is that either you're a hater or you have to just
love him.
Almighty LeBron.
Right.
And to me, I feel like calling it down the middle. What is it really? Ain't nobody perfect, and ain't nobody just all 100% bad either. You feel me? So at the end of the day, it's just what's real. And to me, that's what's real. Is he cries when he doesn't get his way. Like, dude, everything goes your way already. Give him a break somewhere. But that's what they used to, man.
I mean, closed mouths don't get fed. At least he keep his mouth open, keep fighting for what he wants.
Somebody else is talking for him, though. That's not him doing it. That's just him not trying to take the shelter of the blame. He's doing the Cleveland thing all over again. It has to be somebody else's fault. Can't be mine. Dude, grow up.
That's crazy.
Tired of that, man. Play the freaking game, or I'll be watching college basketball or winter. I care less. I'm gonna get my hoops on.
Winter. You ain't gonna watch your Browns?
We'll talk about that tomorrow.
All right. Also, to be fair about that MVP, let's be honest, he deserved that. He had the better storyline. He was more valuable to his team.
I don't care about a storyline. I care
it's
about
a storyline award, though. No, they always go off the storyline.
But he wasn't the best player in the regular season either.
He was more valuable to his team, though.
No, not necessarily. You take Giannis off that team? That team is a freaking...
You have Giannis on that team. That team's just a second-round team.
Yeah, absolutely. But you take Giannis off that team is playing in the lottery. Like, they're not even in the bubble. The Lakers, I think, still could have made a run at the bubble with Anthony Davis being on top of that team. So. All right. But quit crying, LeBron. That's a long story short about that.
Yeah, you heard it, T. Quit crying. Get out there playing basketball or don't play basketball. I mean, it don't matter to me, honestly, to be honest. I'm just here to let T rant off, but to also keep him in track. So next, we're going to talk about the head coaching. Who got hired? Who just got hired? Like, who did get hired?
I know that
what was his name? He was the assistant coach.
I know Ty Lue got the Clippers job.
Which, I mean, that could have been foreseen before anything.
I can't for the life of me. I'm not even gonna try it because I'm gonna butcher it. The Indiana's new head coach. Look that up for me. The correct pronunciation, but I know he's a Toronto assistant coach. I think that's a good fit.
What's his name? Silas?
No. Silas. He went to Houston.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if his name was Silas or something.
Steven Silas. That's Paul Silas's son. He's actually been coaching for a long time.
Yeah, because he was assistant for Philly or somewhere.
Yeah, Philly, Charlotte. I can't think if he was in Cleveland for a while. I don't think he was. No, because Paul was LeBron's first coach. So I mean, with Steven, he looks super young, and I mean he's still young for a coach, but he's been doing it a while. And I mean, for me personally, and I've said it on this show many and many times, I think it's good to get somebody that's not a retreat at some point in time and give one of these young head coaches a team that can win too. I think oftentimes these young head coaches go into a situation where they're basically set to fail, especially with a coach of color, because let's be real, this happens quite a bit where your leash is so much shorter. So it's kind of like the jig is already up because we want to give you a chance to. Well, you gave them that first opportunity. Like, what I'm saying? Like, that's why you can't always take the first opportunity you get anyway, just because it sets you up for failure sometimes. So I want to see what a new innovative mind, because a guy like Silas, you should be somewhere in the middle, I would think. Having the dad that you had the head coaching that you had growing up, you should have some of them old school values and old school techniques, and how to run the game that way. And then you should be able to flip it around and be able to use more of the analytics aspect, be more in the modern game. And to me personally, that should make you a greater coach, just because you can have both sides of that fence and be able to work it out that way. So I'm interested to see what that's going to be. Now the pressure's going to be high on you just because
Most definitely.
with James Harden, Westbrook. That's what happens. But,
I mean, I know what I'm looking at that this deal is to see what type of system he's going to bring to Houston. Is he going to bring just like a defense oriented system, or how they going to run this offense differently? Because with Mike, is it D'Antoni or Antoni?
D'Antoni.
With Mike D'Antoni, it seemed to be high octane offense and little to none defense. So I want to know what he going to bring to this.
Well, D'Antoni usually has one speed, and that's kind of the gift and the curse for him.
Right.
So I think with Silas, we don't know, but I don't think nobody wants to be that small. So I think I'm confident enough to say that I think that some things are going to change, but at the same time, Silas is probably more likely to concede to Russell and concede to Harden. So I don't think that changes that at all. I don't think he joins that job knowing that Harden's getting traded or anything like that. So you can throw that Philly rumor out the window. And
I was gonna say, was that a real
no,
rumor?
I don't.
I
just
saw
think
that and I'm like, that got to be a joke.
a lot of times you get lazy analysts. They put the math together. Well, D'Antoni used to coach James Harden. Philly needs another player. Let's just make that happen.
All right, we back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. What I say we was gonna talk about trade rumors?
DeMar DeRozan.
DeMar might get traded from the Spurs. Didn't he get traded from the Raptors?
Yeah, that's how they got Kawhi.
They can't. He can't stay no place right now, huh?
No, I mean, but that's
crazy.
DeRozan is one of those dudes where they have him in, like, you have to build around DeRozan. Problem with DeRozan is he ain't necessarily the guy you want to build around either. So it's kind of a quandary. Like, DeMar DeRozan, and I don't really mean to be disrespectful, but it's about to sound super disrespectful. He kind of reminds me of, not playing style, but he kind of has a game. I don't even want to say Joe Johnson.
I was gonna say Gilbert Arenas, but then like you said, not playing style, so I'm like, I was kind of thinking, I'm like, he don't really got that playing style of Gilbert Arenas either, and he don't got the personality either.
No, I mean, I see what I'm really trying to say is like
he got like when you look at him, he's not really a star, but he's not a star.
No, he's not either. Like
he still brings a factor, but he doesn't bring that factor.
To me, every team has the best player.
Right.
Rather you're a good player or not is a whole other story. But every team has the best player. Every team has a borderline all-star. Somebody has a case. I remember for years, Al Jefferson used to get a ton of all-star conversation, even though he never won one. And his team always stunk, but it was like, well, Al Jefferson's out here 20 and 10, and then, well, somebody has to do it. And I think that's the same thing with DeRozan. It's kind of like, and where I was going with it is, He kind of reminds me of Kevin Martin. That's why I said not play style.
I feel like you was right with Joe Johnson in a way.
Well, I mean that's the mentality.
Right.
The mentality, because Joe Johnson could have been a lot better than what he was. And I think he had the skill set and the talent to be a lot better than what he was. I think DeMar DeRozan has that too. It's just between the years. That's
Right.
what kind of hurts him. But what I say Kevin Martin is because for a long 24, 25 a game. But he played on bummy Sacramento and they stunk up the joint for years. And you always overrated Kevin Martin because he's burned for them. If he was somewhere else, then all of a sudden he sucks. He didn't suck. It was just that he was at a perfect spot for where he needed to be. That allowed him to get buckets, not be accountable for nothing else, but his team was going to stink. Same thing with DeRozan, except his teams don't always stink. They just ain't never going to get there with him as your best player. Now, I think if you have Kawhi Leonard and DeMar DeRozan, you'll win your championship. But if I have to depend on DeMar DeRozan, you see what happened with Toronto. You leave.
I mean,
You bring Kawhi in there.
that could have been more on the fact that he kept running into LeBron every year.
I mean, but
at the same time,
Kawhi beat him.
Right.
Like again, that's one of those things. Shout out to Logan, and my mans. You'll appreciate this one. To be the man, you got to do what? You got to beat the man. So at the end of the day, you can't beat LeBron James. Who problem is that? You're an NBA athlete. That's why I didn't like what he said when he cried about, well, they got LeBron James. Of course they're going to win. What's the problem? But that's how some people look at it. So I just think, again, that's his mentality. And that's why he's not not to say he's not a Spur, but if he's not going to be a Spur, that's why. It's the mentality. Like, you're better off somewhere else. And I think that'll be the thing. If DeRozan gets traded, he will be somewhere where he can be DeMar DeRozan, the borderline guy. So if he ends up, again, going to maybe not Philly, maybe not be the best for them, but that might be more realistic than a James Harden. If Philly ends up going after DeMar DeRozan, I could get that, even though their 3-point shooting will be atrocious. But this is kind of one of those things. Like I said, you have to build your team around DeMar DeRozan because he's not that complete type of package, but he's not necessarily the guy that you build a team around either. Like, I know the Jordan haters, when they try to kind of shoot him down with the LeBron comparison, they try to say that DeMar DeRozan, well, Michael Jordan was just DeMar DeRozan. He would have been DeMar DeRozan now. Like, you'll see that a lot. It's ignorant and stupid. I don't believe it for 1 second. But they're really just talking about the lack of 3-point shooting that DeMar DeRozan does.
What part of the internet are you on?
Bro, the stupid part of the internet, which is a lot of it.
I ain't never seen that, and I'm actually glad I did that.
Man, look that up. I'll guarantee you'll see somebody. And like I said, it's the people who like, one, you're ignorant already because you make it seem like LeBron has to be the greatest and Jordan has to suck. How about they both are great?
That's why I say 1A, 1B.
That's just, it is what it is with that one. But some people have to feel like I have to dim your light for my light to shine, and that's
right.
The same way. It's like, Jordan's just he's DeMar DeRozan, now. No, DeMar DeRozan don't have that killer instinct
at all.
That's a mentality thing. Jordan had that. Jordan, he had. I was watching him and he was talking about Jordan telling him that Clyde Drexler was every bit as great as Jordan was. He just didn't know how to play the game the right way, and he wasn't talking about the basketball. Jordan knew what he was doing with everything else, and his mentality is what took him over the top. So, I mean, again, that's what's going to knock DeMar DeRozan until he figures that out. So, LeBron or no LeBron, you have to be like, you have to come up with that mindset anyway. No matter what season we're dealing with, no matter what we're doing, no matter what happens with the NBA, I have to always have the mentality that we have to do it.
You had that knocked out this whole time? Oh snap. Just plug it in at the end right there.
That
All right.
explains everything now because I was hearing a little kind of feedback from it. I guess it went in all the way. Giggity.
Yeah, I think that thing's messing up. Hold on. Uh, yeah.
Gravy.
I mean, it's kind of hanging out right now, so you might not want to touch it.
Almost hit myself with a mic shot. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. But yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, we'll see. That's where we're at right now. We're at that we'll see stage. So, for DeMar DeRozan's sake, hopefully he does get out of San Antonio. For San Antonio's sake, they need a full rebuild. Not just DeMar DeRozan, Marcus Aldridge needs to be out here too. Just because I don't. That team at its best gets you an 8 seed. So we'll see.
All right. Okay. Um, I guess other news, other trades around the league is. I mean, we think it's a joke, but for some reason, at least on Bleacher Report, some other people think it's real. But some, I guess the 76ers are truly trying to pursue James Harden now that they got what's his name, Dan or was it Dan?
D'Antoni.
Not Morley.
Oh, Morey, yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
they got what's it,
Um,
Daryl or Dan Morley or something.
Daryl Morey. Listen, man, I want to pursue Janae Ioku. Don't mean that's gonna happen.
All right, all right.
Means I want to though.
Next topic.
So if that answers your question, then here we are.
You gonna come from my boy Big Sean's girl, man? That's great.
Listen, bro, I'll come from Big Sean's chain
All right.
and his bike. It's my bike, punk.
All right, I guess another one since we both don't believe in that James Harden trade. The Pelicans are openly shopping Drew Holiday.
I can see that.
You got no problem with that? I mean, Drew you've been a stable for a minute.
Well, Drew's one of those guys. He's kind of I don't say the opposite of DeMar DeRozan, but he's kind of one of those. Like, I would rather trade for Drew Holiday than DeMar DeRozan because Drew Holiday fits wherever, and that's why I say I ain't too mad at it because Drew helps you if he stays on your team if you're the Pelicans. Drew helps you if he leaves your team if you're on the Pelicans because you're gonna get something good for him. You can put somebody else up there. You can, what I mean, you can kind of move some spots around to be able to do some things for Drew Holiday or around Drew Holiday. Whatever way you get it. Drew Holiday might be one of those guys that he might be better for somebody else than he is for you right now. So I'm not mad at that, depending on what they can get for him. But that's the other aspect of it. If you're trading Drew Holiday for basically nothing, then how much does that help? But if you trade Drew Holiday, let's say Philly. Again, if we want to use that as a template, Drew Holiday is probably a better fit than James Harden. He's a better fit than DeMar
He's a
DeRozan.
better fit than Ben Simmons, to be honest.
It's debatable, but I think
They need a point guard, a true point guard.
at the same time, I think that's what helps Drew out more is if he's around a Ben Simmons because he's the kind of guy that he kind of can fit anywhere. So it's like, well, if we need Drew Holiday to be able to be a floor spacer, then Drew Holiday can be a floor spacer. And you don't have to necessarily worry about that. If you need Drew Holiday to be on the ball more, like you see last year, Drew Holiday is an all-star level point guard. But Lonzo Ball started at the point guard. Because Drew Holiday is a guy that you can just put wherever you feel like you need to put him. So I just think that if you throw him in Houston, he's a guy that helps you win without having to give up as much as you would have to give for Harden. Because to get Harden in Philly, to me, you have to give up Ben Simmons. To get Drew Holiday, you just probably have to give up some picks and some cap relief because New Orleans ain't necessarily looking for a finished product yet. They're trying to build for a long time. That's what's the phrase? I'm here for a long time, not a
I'm here for a
good time, not a
not
long time. It's the other way around for them. Like I'm here for a long time, not a good time. So Drew Holiday may get you where they were at now, competing for that eighth spot kind of area, still in that bubble. The NBA tried to put New Orleans there anyway. It didn't work in their favor, but they tried to make it that way. And that's the max you get with that team with Drew Holiday. But with that being said, Drew Holiday takes the seventh seed, the eighth seed, and puts them to that fourth seed. He takes a 4 seed and he puts them into that second, third, 1 seed type of area. So I mean, I love Drew Holiday, and never mind the fact that he will shut you down on defense. That's a respectable thing. So I mean, you got all that to the equation, man. Like Drew Holiday will be in a lot of demand, and again, that's why you put him up there because you can get a lot for him, and you're not there yet. So if I'm New Orleans, I'm not doing my job if I'm not seeing what I can get out there for Drew Holiday because you can get a lot more for Drew Holiday than you get from Lonzo Ball.
Right. Well, I don't know about that.
You will because
I mean, I don't know why, but I really say if you ship Lonzo back to LA, I feel like that they get a nice bang for their buck for that. I just don't know if LA or the Lakers would, take him back.
No, because you have to also bring LeVar there. None of that. And he done been on his little tangents too lately.
Has he?
Yep.
Man, he been off my radar for so long. I think
mine too, but he peaks up every now and again.
I mean, nowadays, I always felt like he was a better fit than Kuzma. Lonzo for LA than Kuzma was, but Kuzma was actually balling, and Lonzo really wasn't.
Well, LeBron hated him the day he was there. Like his dad already started to drop him.
I wouldn't say he hated him.
LeBron hated him.
I mean, he probably hated his dad more than he hated Lonzo.
He hated everybody.
All right, bro. All right.
Roll with that one.
But I guess the next team that's looking to trade or looking for trades is the Warriors. I know I saw reports that they were looking at Kelly Oubre. So what you thinking on that? I know everyone can say Giannis to the Warriors, so maybe that's to help that out, which I hope not. I truly hope not.
That's another one of those lazy narratives. How is he getting there? So let's talk about that.
Like I'm looking at this article right now, they talking about the limitations. Like that's a big limitation. Who you gonna pay? Who's taking a pay cut? Who you trading off? What's the big piece that's leaving? Is it Draymond? Is it Clay?
That's lazy.
Because it's definitely not Steph.
But see, that's the thing. I don't think Clay and Draymond get you Giannis. That's not. We're talking about the MVP.
I don't even know if Kelly Oubre gets you Giannis.
No, none of that does.
Definitely not.
But that's just again a lazy narrative. When we don't like, it's hard for people to say I don't know. Right. It's the weirdest thing, but it's hard for people to be like I can't call it. I don't know. At the end of the day, that's the reality of it. It's just people know, and I have this theory about the Browns. It's the same thing. Like it's the same joke, pretty much. Like I think that a lot of times people didn't want the Browns to be good because I wanted to use the same lazy jokes. I can always use the I'm taking the Browns to the Super Bowl or I'm taking the Browns to toilet bowl, whatever. I can always, as long as they suck, I can make a joke at it. I seen a couple Jets memes the other day that were basically the Browns memes and jokes. Just now the Jets are the team. You know what I mean? Now.
Hold on, what was it? What were the memes?
I can't remember now. I just know that I looked at it and I said I've seen this as a Browns meme a cajillion times. But pretty much, long story short, a lot of people don't want to write another article. So if you can see what Durant did for Golden State, and then if you felt like Durant should have been in Golden State, then you don't mind seeing Giannis over there. Because you're the reason why the game sucks like that. Because that's your mentality. I want to see teams just be dominant, and then there's a whole bunch of weak teams. I don't think the NBA is better that way, but there's a writer out there who does. That's why you put Giannis in Golden State, even if it doesn't make any sense in the world. That's just their mentality because, again, I'm just making stuff up. And there's a lack of accountability. Let's say that I push this Giannis to Golden State thing for half a year, he never goes there. You're not going to look up whatever writer said that and hold me accountable for it. I'm just going to write another article about somebody else. There was a cajillion articles about LeBron going to New York. Where are those writers at now? Still employed, still have a job. They're just making something up for somebody else.
And wait, was this recent? Was this like?
No, I'm just talking about in general. Like,
no, I mean like was those reports like 2 years ago when he was about to leave Cleveland? Or was that like?
No, they well.
Was
this
17
is
to 10
way
years
back
ago.
when. But if you want to use Durant was another one. Right. All you heard was Knicks. Boom, first day of free agency, Brooklyn Nets.
I mean, I heard Washington wanted Knicks.
I never believed in that one.
I mean, why not? Why wouldn't he want to play at home?
A lot of players don't want to play at home because it's too much. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's the lack of accountability. So I think that's what ended up boiling down to it is I don't have to be accountable when I just make up a rumor. And that's what
Right.
rumors are. It's just made up. It ain't no different than high school. You know what I'm saying? Somebody makes up something about the popular. Giannis and Golden State is the popular kids. They're not together right now. And somebody out there in their dream world, Giannis is playing in Golden State. We've seen that movie before.
Right.
That was the same reason I didn't want to see the Lakers win a championship because I've seen this movie before. Sometimes you want to see a different movie. That's my mentality. Other people's mentalities is I want to see the same movie. I have a problem with that. They probably have a problem with the way I think. It's just that's the world we live in, you know. But I believe in facts. Forget speculation. What factual ways that this happened? How is this going to happen? Why would this happen? Why would Milwaukee take that? You know, ask yourself that. Is Middleton and Middleton, Draymond Green? Let's just say that that's the move. Is Middleton, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson enough to even make
I
it
mean,
worth it?
to be honest, it would be more like Draymond, Wiggins, and probably Clay
Yeah, that
with
sucks.
Middleton.
If you tell me that's why Giannis will be
I
they'll
mean,
let him walk before they
who
trade him
who's the big down there, or who would be the big down there?
in Golden State. Well, they would have to use that first.
No, I
That
mean in Milwaukee, if that was the deal.
they would still have Brook Lopez. They would still
Okay,
have
I didn't know what Lopez it was.
yeah. Well, they have both of them actually.
Oh, they do.
But that's just it's you will still have to use that draft pick too. It's just so many things that will have to come into play. And again, we're talking about Giannis right now. You can't tell me out of the 30 teams that are playing in the NBA that this is the best you can do for Giannis. If you tell, I'm gonna slap somebody's mama. If you tell me that freaking Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins get you Giannis Antetokounmpo, like flat out.
I mean, it doesn't. It truly doesn't. I don't know how they would pull that off. They would have to sell half their team truly to get them. So,
But and that's why I don't like this kind of speculation because it's just where is it? You know
right.
why is it a thing? It ain't. You know, talk to me about something realistic, and then we can work that out.
To be honest, his best chance truly is to stay in Milwaukee and hope they build around him.
But it's monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah, everyone
So
wants to make these speculations, especially since I guess LeBron landed AD, but he's traded half his young players for AD. So,
but LeBron does all this other stuff too, though. Like LeBron doesn't, him and his camp don't just let the game be the game.
right.
You know, they're always under some type of pressure, always under some type of heat, and you have that area that enables that kind of behavior. So let them be great, so everybody else can suck like that. No, play the game fair, but they don't. They refuse to do that. So that's just what that is. Like Anthony Davis, he doesn't want to come to LA if the strings are being pulled like that. But that's just the world we live in until LeBron is out of there. Then it may be somebody else, but he's the most powerful person in the NBA.
To be honest, even when he leaves, you still got KD.
Yeah, but I think KD.
I think you said it best. He loves to do everything LeBron does, like to do it better.
Yeah, but I think after LeBron dips this time, it's just, I'm like KD's probably married to Brooklyn at this point. Until of course he can move.
Blows up or something happens.
But I don't think that he would be competing. Like I think if once LeBron leaves, KD becomes LeBron.
Right.
Like that's the.
Well, yeah, that's the way I was kind of putting it. Like when he leaves, KD's now LeBron, so he'll do whatever he want to do, kind of how LeBron does.
Yeah, I just don't. I see Brooklyn being KD's LA.
Okay.
So I mean, I guess that's just my thing with it. I think like KD doesn't leave Golden State if it happened the way he thought it was going to happen. I think KD looked at Golden State and thought, "Oh, once I win championships, everybody's just going to appreciate my greatness." No, most people look at him like he never won one.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he said it best. He always looked like this never felt like my team, and especially when Draymond called him out like that, he was like, "This definitely ain't my team."
Yeah, he's super hypocritical because he cries about a lot of this stuff, but at the same time, he makes it seem like this championship means a lot to him. It's like, dude, which one is it? But that's what happens when you do. Shout out to Tim Thomas, fugazi stuff, and you expect not to take any type of backlash for it. You know, and a lot of these athletes, again, that's the way their mentalities are set up. And to an extent, I can't blame them because that's what you get your whole entire life. You know what I'm saying? Somebody telling you never wrong, it's always somebody else's fault. Then when it is your fault, then you look at them like they're wrong. You know, and at the end of the day, you have to be accountable. So until these NBA players start being accountable, we just keep having to deal with this. But I mean, it's been happening for a long time. It's just now, it's just extra, you know.
Right.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, that's all I have on my show notes. You got anything else you want to talk about?
No. Outside of that, I mean, the NBA season, we done got through that. We're in the off season area pretty much. So I mean, basically, we out here when it comes here. So
Yeah.
this is all this from the start, from starting the show, from us still being here to all that. It's all uncharted territory. From the bubble, everything is uncharted territory. So we'll know when you know.
Yeah, we'll know what you know. So, uh, I mean, I'm gonna talk to T about it, but definitely check us with Nutty North. That's still going. That's gonna be going for a while. So we're definitely gonna be on Nutty North more than Open Gym. But when we hear the news, we're gonna be here. We're gonna
Definitely.
be here. But yeah. I've been Rondell. That's T. Catch y'all next time.
Peace.
What's wrong with my